created in acquiring a piece of land. I know of cases where the federal government has approved the project, but the investor is still running around after 4 years because a piece of land has not been released to him by the city government or by the provincial government. And if you have these kind of pieces in place, I think I have no doubt in my mind that Pakistan would be able to resume its trajectory which was lost a few years ago. Thank you very much.
We are thankful to Dr. Rashad Hussain, Dean and Director at the Institute of Business Administration, Karachi. I request him to please join us on the stage. So, it was a change in the schedule as requested by our honorable guest, Dr. Ataur Rahman.
I request Mr. Jamal Abbas Zaidi to please join our distinguished guest on the stage. From last 10 years, private equity in the urban areas of our country developed in such a tremendous manner that a common man is also taking part in equity market and looking for its perfect funds manager. And to present the role of private equity in Pakistan, we have our distinguished speaker, Mr. Muhammad Najam Ali. Mr. Ali has a bachelor degree in economics from the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, USA. As a chartered accountant, he holds membership of Institute of Chartered Accountants of Pakistan, Institute of Chartered Accountants, England and Wales, and the Ontario, Canada. He is also qualified as Certified Public Accountant, USA. He worked as a CEO at the JS Investments Limited. He has also served twice the Mutual Funds Association of Pakistan, and currently he is a CEO of Next Capital Limited. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Muhammad Najam Ali.
Distinguished speakers, ladies and gentlemen, good evening and assalamu alaikum. Now, क्योंकि मेरा ख्याल है लोग कम हैं, तो अगर लोग आगे आना चाहें तो आ जाएं, because I'll be making a presentation, so I'll be able to view it well. So अगर कुछ लोग आगे आना चाहते हो तो आ जाएं. जब जावेद मंशा साहब ने मुझे कॉल किया a few days ago, so I was really uncertain as to what topic should I have picked. But during the conversation, I realized that private equity might be a very useful topic because it's relatively new to Pakistan. Why I chose that topic? Two reasons. Firstly, it's a subject very close to my heart. I would like to spend my remaining professional career focusing on this particular area of business. And more importantly, I believe Pakistan is going to develop economically despite all the despondency that we experience on a daily basis and the setbacks that we have received. As a nation, I don't think we have any other choice but to develop. And if we believe, and I strongly believe so, then private equity can play a very important role in Pakistan's future economic progress, as it has done in many other countries. Now, before I look at the prospects of private equity in Pakistan, I will bore you by introducing private equity as a basic subject as to how it is structured and the private equity scene in the world, especially in the developing world, and then look at its prospects in Pakistan. In terms of its core definition, private equity is nothing but equity capital which is provided to essentially private limited companies, which are not listed on the stock exchanges. Although there are certain variants which will still invest in the publicly quoted companies, but by and large, private equity only only invests in public, not public quoted companies. It's a very important source of funds worldwide. Unfortunately, Pakistan has not developed this market for a number of reasons that we will see in my presentation. It is an extremely important source of funding for startups. In case of venture capital companies, venture capital projects. In case of distressed investments, 2008 has unleashed a serious economic mess all over the world. I was talking to IFC officials just a few days ago, and they told me that IFC has made tremendous gains by investing during the last 2 years, only because the asset prices were depressed. And IFC is one of the largest private equity investors in the world. It is their belief that the asset prices are low, and that's why they should be investing through in private companies. Now, in terms of various types of private equities, funding those are available. If broadly categorize them into leverage buyouts, you have venture capital, growth capital, distressed investments, and mezzanine capital. I can look at the definitions, but I think I'll be wasting your time. This is a subject we can explore at some other forum. Any investment must have a strong value proposition. Any investment vehicle must have a very strong value proposition. Otherwise, investors will just shy from it. Private equity is becoming increasingly important in terms of its developmental impact in different economies. And why investors are so keen to invest through a private equity structure is that the historical returns that private equity has provided to the investors all over the world are, in terms of dollar returns, are between 25 to 30%. But obviously, these investments are relatively risky investments. But so is the nature of the private equity investor. They are long-term investors, especially pension funds and the other long-term providers of funds. Their business, their core focus is on the long term. They do not. The typical private equity fund has a cycle of approximately 10 years, where 2 to 3 years are kept for allocating the resources, 4 to 5 years maturity of investment, and 2 to 3 years for exiting from those investments. So it's typically a 10-year cycle that a private equity venture takes. I mean, obviously, it will vary from investment to investment, but I'm talking about private equity funds. Private equity has become an asset class in its own right. It's called the alternate asset class. Like any other asset class, it has its own peculiar characteristics, and we will see them in our presentation. One thing that we must understand is private equity investment is not just an investment. It is a change capital. It has a very strong focus on particular areas. It has a predetermined mindset